My F21 boyfriend, M21, lied about my race to his friend. My boyfriend and I were invited to a barbecue one of his friends was hosting. I'll call this friend Drew. On the way there, my boyfriend told me that I might not like Drew because he's weird, and I was unsure what he meant by that. He explained that after Drew moved away, his personality changed and he holds some controversial opinions. I didn't press any further on the matter because I didn't really care. Even if someone might hold opinions I don't agree with, I can still be polite and respectful. I thought, it's just a little get-together, so it should be fun. My boyfriend proceeded to tell me something odd that happened earlier when he was at Drew's house, helping him set up. Drew asked my boyfriend if I was Indian and my boyfriend said yes. I was confused because I'm literally a black girl. At the beginning of our relationship, my boyfriend showed Drew a picture of me, and I guess Drew thought I looked Indian. I asked my boyfriend why he didn't tell him I was black, and he said he just didn't feel like answering questions about me. I thought it was a little funny but weird. I just brushed it off. The barbecue was fine until I heard Drew's conversation with another one of my boyfriend's friend. I'm not sure how they got onto the topic, but they were ranking who has it worse in the world. Drew said at the bottom there was black. He said a transgender slur I will not repeat, and then black women. I thought it was a highly inappropriate thing to say, especially in my presence. I was disgusted and upset, but I wasn't involved in the conversation so I ignored them. My boyfriend was beside me and heard the entire conversation but was quiet. He just glanced at me and started rubbing my arm. Nothing else happened the rest of the day. On the way home, I told my boyfriend that I couldn't believe he told Drew I was Indian. I asked him again why he couldn't just correct him. My boyfriend said, I didn't want to tell him you were black because he was gonna be weird about it. I thought he would say we shouldn't be together. I felt crushed hearing these words come out of my boyfriend's mouth. The way he worded it made it seem like he was embarrassed by me. I don't understand why he would lie about my race, especially if I was going to meet Drew. I feel humiliated that I showed up and they were probably shocked to see that I was black. Drew and his girlfriend probably believe that my boyfriend is ashamed of me, enough to lie about my race. I felt so embarrassed. My boyfriend and I were on a break for a couple of days but ultimately, I decided to stay with him. He was remorseful about the situation, but I'm still hurt that he would bring me around people like that. He told me he would stop being friends with Drew and his other friend. My boyfriend told me it would be stupid to break up over something like this, but I don't really agree. Yesterday, my boyfriend spoke to Drew about the situation. He didn't directly call Drew a racist but told him that I thought he was one. Hearing that pissed me off because it's like he threw me under the bus. Drew argued that he wasn't racist and I have a right to feel how I do, even if it's wrong. He told my boyfriend I was overreacting, being emotional. My boyfriend explained to Drew that he was choosing our relationship over his friendship. I appreciate that my boyfriend dropped him without me having to ask, but I wish he didn't have company like that in the first place. I feel like he's just doing this to please me so I don't leave him. I feel weird now about the whole situation and I don't know if I am overreacting. I feel like I ruined my boyfriend's friendship and blew up for no reason, but I was and am still very hurt because of what happened. I love my boyfriend but I feel empty. I can't stop thinking about everything. How do I get over this? He holds some controversial opinions. This is code for he is racist, homophobic and probably also a misogynist. I didn't want to tell him you were black because he was gonna be weird about it. He was going to be racist about it I assume. Your boyfriend ruined his own friendship and Drew did that by holding his weird opinions. Your boyfriend is racist enough to be friends with a racist, that too racist for me. Your boyfriend is hurting you to protect his racist friend's feelings on your race. This relationship is over. You can't be with a bigot and your boyfriend is a bigot too. Your boyfriend is racist, he's hanging out with racist people and won't defend you. Why does your boyfriend want to be friends with a racist? My 37F wife had an affair with my best friend 39M. Me and my wife met when we were 19 and 21 years old. We met online. We talked for a couple months. We eventually met up. We started dating. We were together for over 5 years. We had our first son. That's when some problems started. I know this sounds like I am an a-hole. Her drive stop. We only had when I ignitionated. We separated then got back together. It was and has always been me fighting for our marriage and keeping our family together. We had so many stupid little fights. She became pregnant with our second son. We were doing a lot better. We got married before the birth of our second child. The marriage stopped most of the fights. We then tried and had our third child, a girl. Marriage was hard, but we were doing better. So a little backstory on my ex-BF. We met before I met my wife. He was being a deadbeat dad to a family friend's son. So I put him in his place. He changed and we started to hang out more. I saw him like a brother over my own brother. I knew he slept with other guys' wives and I warned him if he ever tried with my wife I would bury him. Fast forward to the time of the affair. We were starting to hang out more often than normal. I was doing projects around my house. I was planning to renew my wife and I vows. He was going to be my best man over my real brother. The night before I found out I had a feeling like I've never felt before. Something told me something wasn't right. So my ex-boyfriend and I went to get tickets for a movie. My phone was dead, so I took my wife's phone. I looked for my messages that I sent him on her phone when my phone was dead from time to time. There was nothing there. So I sat there contemplating on if something was going on. I was going to ask her the next day. Then the next day was one of my worst days ever. I went to work. I received a call from his wife. Yes, he was married with a daughter. So he broke his wrist when we went riding quads and dirt bikes. So he left his Apple Watch at home. His wife found all the text messages between them and called me. Sent me proof. First thing I did, called her to tell her I know. She admitted right away. Then I called him, told him come to my house, told him I was going to whoop his and get his shish and go. That's what happened. Before he even got one word out I beat the shish out of him. Then he got up and then he left. I kicked her out but only lasted a week. I missed my kids too much. Here's the thing, she knew how he was. This was actually the second time he tried. First time nothing happened. So they started texting, turned into sting. Then it became meeting up and making out on her lunch break and meeting up at a parking lot to make out. It got to him getting a partial hand job. The next day they got caught. The crazy thing is she is not a sexual person. So I asked why and her reason was she was miserable at her job and he showed her attention. He was a distraction. She told me that she was planning to end it because she was starting school and get really busy. He had things in common with her. He told me he fell in love with my wife. I was a loving husband, always said love you and gave compliments. She admits I did nothing wrong. We are still together today. 3 years later. I am having a hard time moving on. I can't get over she had 2 opportunities to tell me and failed both times. And the reason why she did it and the reason why she was going to stop. She has never really tried to earn her respect and put an effort in to rebuild what we had. I would love some advice, or if someone went through this. How should I move forward? Like I said, we have 3 kids. They're all I got. Thanks in advance. She's not trying to regain your trust because she doesn't have to. You took her back and carried on like nothing happened. You only have 2 options. Reconciliation and try to make it work, or divorce. No matter how you look at it, your wife's affair was her choice and there is no excuse for her behavior. If she hasn't made an effort in the marriage, and still isn't making an effort, you know where she truly stands. Ignitionated. Get a divorce and split custody. She is upset she got caught, not that she had the affair. First time I've ever heard of a partial hand job. Not sure how that works. My 27F boyfriend, 28M, makes sad puppy noises during arguments. Throwaway because my boyfriend has my other Reddit. I am in need of some advice regarding a recurring issue I've been experiencing with my boyfriend. Whenever I try to communicate a problem or express my feelings, he responds by making sad puppy dog noises. It's becoming increasingly frustrating, and I'm not sure how to handle it. To give you some context, my 27F boyfriend, 28M, of 8 years is generally a caring and affectionate person. However, whenever we sit down to discuss something that's bothering me or if I bring up an issue in our relationship, instead of engaging in a constructive conversation, he starts making legit sad puppy sounds and sighing, pretending he can't breathe. It's almost like he's trying to guilt trip me or deflect from the topic at hand. When I ask, "Are you hurting?" or "Are you in pain?" he goes back to being 100% normal. He denies having anxiety or panic attacks. And when I go, "Never mind," and repress my feelings, he goes back to normal instantly. I've tried to address this behavior with him, explaining that it makes me feel unheard and dismissed. I've emphasized the importance of open and honest communication in a relationship, but it doesn't seem to have much of an impact. He either brushes it off as a harmless quirk or tells me that he can't help it, claiming that it's an involuntary response. What should I do? Has anyone else experienced something like this in their relationship? How did you handle it? Any advice on how I can address this issue with my boyfriend would be greatly appreciated. I want to find a way for us to communicate openly and honestly without feeling dismissed or invalidated. Too long did not read. Whenever I try to communicate an issue or express my feelings, my boyfriend responds by making sad puppy dog noises and pretending to be in distress. It feels like he's guilt-tripping me or deflecting from the problem. I've talked to him about it, but he either brushes it off or claims it's involuntary. I'm unsure how to handle this situation and would appreciate advice on addressing the issue and improving our communication. Edit. I know that this seems like a joke, but I swear on everything. He actually does this and I have considered breaking up with him. I'm not trolling. I actually need advice. Sad face. Update. We are meeting up tomorrow and talking about this, but I'm probably gonna have to end this relationship because I can't see him changing. Thanks for opening my eyes. This sucks, but I can't imagine continuing like this for the rest of my life. Finale update. We broke up. I meet with him at Starbucks and tried talking to him. I wanted closure, and he started whimpering again. I told him I can't do this anymore and wished him the best. He started hyperventilating and getting louder, so I rushed out. Spray him with a bottle. He is doing it to shut you up. That's why he goes back to his normal self when the subject changes to him. Sit him down and tell him it's not okay. When he starts doing it, keep talking. Ignore him, he will most likely get louder. At that point, dump him. You should pet him and call him a good puppy. Edit. Take him to the vet and have him put down. I'd angrily ask what the fuck he was doing the second he started, and why he felt dog whining was an appropriate adult response to an adult conversation. Hiss at him like a cat. My 23F boyfriend, 22M, wants me to stop my antidepressants. My boyfriend doesn't like that I take antidepressants. He is worried that I will become dependent on them and that when I go off of them I won't be attracted to him anymore. Do antidepressants change how attracted you are to someone? He said he would possibly reconsider the relationship if I chose to stay on them because he feels antidepressants just change how your brain works. I feel that he respectfully addressed his concerns. I am just worried about going off of them and having anxiety and depression again. I talked with my parents about it, who have seen the difference the medication has done for me, and suggested that if he can't handle me doing antidepressants that I should let him walk away. I talked to my boyfriend and let him know that I plan to stay on them at least for the next few months. He was really frustrated by this. He told me that he has had hard times in his life, but when he turned to Jesus it all got better. I told him that I am very religious. When I was going through a dark time I was trying to do everything right and nothing was working, which is why I turned to a psychiatrist after 6 months of really struggling. The difference they've made has been incredible. He still says it bothers him, but that he still wants to date me. He is also not very sensitive. I brought him over to meet my family the other night. He made fun of my sister's birthmark, my cousin's bracelet, my mom for accidentally running over my little brother's cat, in front of my little brother, which was so heartbreaking for them. Brought up politics with my grandparents even though I asked him twice not to. And probably a million other things I couldn't even pick up on out of my embarrassment. I asked him to please be more sensitive, which he was willing to work on. I didn't think he had any idea that things were wrong. I think this is how his family communicates in his house. But I think these issues will take longer to fix than me just asking him once. I've wanted to give him a real chance. I want to get married. In my culture everyone gets married so fast, like early 20s. And honestly I know it sounds stupid, but I feel I'm running out of time. I've wanted to give him a good chance also because I see his great qualities, and it seems that he really likes me. I wrote off my last relationship too soon over dumb things, and I just want to make sure I never do something like that again only to regret it later. It's only been a month. IDK if I'm being too critical, but I'm really not feeling good about things at this point. He had a really hard family life growing up, and I think his dad was extremely hard on him. I feel so much for him and care about him a lot, but I am considering breaking up at this point. Boyfriend wants me to go against a medical professional's advice and follow his uneducated and unsolicited advice. He obviously has no idea how medication works and would rather I walk around with my mental illness hindering my way of life. FIFY. Leave him. He is not your doctor. Not now, not ever. If he demands this, the only thing you need to stop is being in a relationship with someone who does not want what is best for you and your needs. It sounds like you have all the reasons you don't like him and want to break up with him. Unfortunately, you're not going to fix him despite what you think. If you end up marrying him, he's just going to get more controlling and manipulative moving on. I think it's best to cut losses. You are way too young to lose your youth on him. I wouldn't be attracted to someone trying to control my life after a month, but that's just me. Never compromise your health or well-being for another. After a month and he already tries to control you and change you into someone he wants. He doesn't want you.